I am Araceli, a wealth advisor, real estate investor in the United States and Canada, and creator of Wealthy Women in Real Estate. Every week, I meet with Colette, a real estate broker and a real estate investor in Canada. We come together to talk about all things real estate investing and how to increase your wealth. Join us. Welcome everyone. This is Araceli, Transition Wealth Advisor and Real Estate Investor in the US and Canada. And today in a weekly chat with Colette, so we're going to be talking about something that is going to interest you and that is going to be really good for you. Colette, can you tell us what that is? Introduce yourself.
Of course. Hi everybody, my name is Colette Raba. I'm a residential real estate broker in the GTA. And I love helping buyers and sellers, especially income property and people who want to fix and flip or any kind of wealth building through real estate. That's why Araceli and I like to talk to each other. We love to help everybody out there know more about investing in real estate and how do you do it and what are the little things and the tweaks and the little tips, and that's why we do the show. So welcome. And today we have a great little episode about 6 ways to make your home look expensive without breaking the bank. So it takes a little bit of time, like everything else, takes a little bit of money, but if you do it, it will pay off for sure. So can I share my screen?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah. So those are little things that are really make a difference. So that's what we're going to talk about today.
Yeah. And especially, even in your own home, if you live there for 10, 20 years, things go, it's just natural. Things get dated, things get a little bit old. And when you decide to sell, even if you want to enjoy it for yourself, there's always certain upgrades that are really not that expensive to add to your home and really keep it modern. Araceli and I spoke about this in a different show. When you are a homeowner, we like to suggest that you put aside a little bit of money every year to do things like this. So that way your home stays current. If you happen to need to sell it quickly, you're not in a rush to do all these things. And it's something that you have a budget for every year, because our favorite line is everything
touches money.
That's right. So that's why we like to do these. And, I've done it myself. I'm sure Araceli has taken some of these tips in her own home and her own income properties. So let's get started, shall we?
Yeah, go ahead.
And in no particular order. There isn't one that's more, will bring you more money than another. But this is something that we just want to modernize homes. We want to make them more contemporary, and these are easy ways to do it. So the first thing you might think is very expensive to do, but it actually isn't. So to add big modern scale art, like we're talking about big art, so as you can see with the picture, this is really huge. Why it's inexpensive to do? Because you can do this in several ways. You can either get fabric that has a beautiful pattern and frame it. You can also buy wallpaper that's already done. Huge wallpaper, maybe $200 you're going to spend, which I think is a great investment, and you can always move it. You can move it to other rooms. Another thing, you can do it yourself. If you're a little bit creative, you can paint your own beautiful artwork. So what else? Did I miss anything?
No, you can also, right now, IKEA has really this big canvases that you can buy, and they're very inexpensive and they look really good. If you have a wall like this one in particular that is really kind of out of the way and you can show it off, that would work really well. But yeah, all of these things that you mentioned, Colette, that's fantastic. So you can buy, even at a garage sale, you might find a really good find.
Absolutely. And Marketplace, Facebook Marketplace is great for stuff like that. So really, if you're worried about scale, bigger the better. And I honestly, if it's above a bed, don't hang it too high, but make sure you measure your space before, so you know. Anything that's even long too, something that's maybe not as high, if you can fit something. So, anything you can do. And always with artwork, if you're nervous about buying artwork, buy a giant mirror. Mirrors work great too.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Easy tip. Okay, number 2, drapery. I know people are afraid of drapes. People don't know what they're doing. Whatever you do, just don't buy the tab tops. Make sure you have proper hardware and hang it. In this picture, it's really up to the molding of the house, of the ceiling. So in an average house where you don't have all this crown molding, you can hang it. What my rule is, hang it between the ceiling and the frame of the window. Hang it in between. So usually if you have an 8-foot ceiling, it's usually about a 7-foot drop. It's usually about a foot in between your frame of the window and the ceiling. So then you have to look at your drapery to make sure it's 7 feet long, or you buy longer drapes and you get them custom length, and you can take them to any dry cleaner, as far as I know, to get them hemmed up. Make sure they are not too short, please. As long as you make them as long as you can possibly stand. So even if you have 9-foot ceilings and you drop it down to 8 feet, that's fantastic. And why I'm saying this is inexpensive is because you can go to most stores and buy 96-inch length drapes and just hang them. And rods are very inexpensive these days. You don't have to do anything custom. If you do want to go a little bit higher end, a little more expensive, you can go to places like Restoration Hardware. They have beautiful drapery and it's ready to go, ready to make to go. You know, buy it, hang it yourself if you can, hire a handyman to hang it. Really inexpensive when you think of the overall cost. You'll have these drapes for many years. Yeah. And especially if they match any of the furniture.
And the thing is, if you're handy as well and you know how to saw, maybe you can do them yourself.
Absolutely, yeah. As long as you put a liner in it, it will look, because they have to hang right. And when you have drapes that don't have a liner, they usually don't hang very nice. And another tip with drapery, make sure you iron them or steam them, and they'll look nice and clean, just like the photo.
Yeah.
And obviously, they probably spent a lot of money in this photo for drapes. But really, it's very straightforward fabric. It doesn't have a huge pattern. They all come in regular widths, too. So when you want to actually close them, make sure your windows are not huge. You might have to get double panels, but that's we're getting into, you know, overdrive. We don't need that. But honestly, drapes add a lot of warmth to a room. The layers and just the textures that it adds to any room is just, people will be blown away by the drapery.
Yep.
Okay, number 3. This is an easy one. Hardware.
Very easy.
Yeah, not just the levers, but also you have the hardware on the door. You know, the hardware that you have to make sure it's the same color. So if you have silver on the hardware, the hinges, make sure you have the doorknob, the lever to be silver as well, or whatever the same color is. So if you can get away with not replacing the hinges, then that's even cheaper. Usually hardware, I have levers in my house. If I had to replace one not too long ago, it was $20.
Yeah.
So, and they're modern, they're beautiful. You can get them at any hardware store. It's quite easy to do. And you can do it yourself. It's just a couple screws.
Oh yeah.
And sorry, why I like levers is because with the aging population, it's just easier to have a lever, not a knob. So everybody's going through, and it's more contemporary, right? Okay, number 4. Kitchens are my favorite.
Yeah, they are. I love kitchens. That's the first thing that I look in a house.
Yeah.
I'm happy with the kitchen. Pretty much the rest of it, I can make it work.
Right. So when you see dated cabinets, when you see old hardware on the cabinets as well, that kind of gives you a bad taste in your mouth. So this picture is good and not good at the same time, because it looks very plain, it looks very neutral, which some people really like that. They don't want their kitchen to stand out. They want it to be just another room. They don't like cooking. People don't like cooking anymore. So
that's me.
Yeah, me too. I was gonna say, including myself.
I like eating, that's it.
Of course, yeah. So if it's a usable kitchen, it's beautiful. I'm happy to entertain. I actually have in my house open concept, so you can see the living room and the dining room from the kitchen. So really, honestly, this is something that's close to my heart. I should be modernizing my kitchen. It's only about 11 years old, but it's very traditional and I'm getting really tired of it. So a couple easy things to do, and you think, oh my gosh, it's going to be very expensive. It doesn't have to be expensive. You could just replace the doors. If you like the layout of your kitchen and your doors are more, very traditional, take them out and modernize them with more of a flat pattern like this kitchen door. Or you can even just replace the doors or just replace the hardware or paint the doors. So, and there's a lot of kitchens now that they just have the shelves. They take the uppers all out.
Yeah. You know what? I did that in one of my rentals. I just took out the old cabinets because the counters were good, but the doors, they were, kind of dated. And I just bought some plain ones, and you just make sure that you measure correctly the way that they tell you, because otherwise it won't fit correctly. And I just got my handyman to install them, and it's like I have a brand new kitchen.
Yeah, usually the boxes, like the cabinets themselves, are in great shape. It's just the doors that get the abuse, with steam from kettles and from the stove being so close and things like that. So they do, and they get dirty, and people, even when you clean them, the finish kind of wears out. So this is something that, to look at your kitchen with different eyes or fresh eyes and say, what, if I just swap out the doors, what's it going to look like? Or
and that is very, very simple. You can just replace the doors and put in new knobs, and that's it.
Yeah, easy and cheap. So number 5 is upgrade your lighting. This to me can be it's a game changer, honestly, because I'm sick of seeing those little nipple lights. I'm sick of seeing these old dated chandeliers in homes. It changes the overall feel of the whole house, really. And when you have something like this, I believe that light fixture is not that expensive. It's a few $100s, but it's also LED, so you're never going to have to change a bulb. And it's also energy saving. So really, this is what buyers are looking for in homes. They want to see this new modern feel. I don't want work. I don't want to have to dust the chandelier and all these little crystals and things like that. They're beautiful, but really to make your home look expensive, this is what this whole little our show is about today, right?
And it's so easy to swap the actual light. That, and if you're not handy, then hire a handyman. It's very inexpensive. It'll take you, well, it depends on how big the light is, but it shouldn't take you more than an hour or two to get that done, right?
Right, absolutely. Yeah, and sometimes you can even put the old light fixture on, something like Marketplace and sell and get a little money for it too, so you'll be saving money there too. And pot lights are beautiful. That's one thing I was going to say. A lot of my buyers, when we go through homes, that's what they actually recognize. They say, oh, there's pot lights. So they've modernized the house already by putting pot lights. Houses are, depending on the time of the year, it can get very dark. So when you're selling and you have pot lights and you turn the pot lights on, when people are touring the house, it makes your house look way brighter and way nicer than even your competition. So always remember, lighting is very important. And last thing is the easiest and probably the cheapest thing to do, which is, do you want to take this one?
Yeah, this is paint. This is actually one of my favorite ones because it's so simple to do. And a new coat of paint always makes the whole thing change, especially if you have bought a property that has dark colors. If you change them from light colors, it'll look like a completely different room.
Yeah, and even though so that's, we save the best for last, but it's the most important thing. And honestly, when it comes to selling a house, I personally tell my sellers, paint the whole house white. Don't paint it any color, just paint it white, because that way buyers can come in and say, oh, you know what? It's a blank slate. We can go in and repaint whatever color. We don't have to struggle with putting layers and layers of primer on. And it's something that makes your house look the lightest and the brightest when you go to sell. But in the meantime, if you want to change your paint colors for yourself, please don't do focal walls anymore. I'm really tired of seeing them, especially when it's a dark and a light. If you can just paint the whole, I would rather see more of an architectural element. Like if you want to add a little bit of crown molding or you know, any kind of wall molding, that's very popular now. You know, let's say behind a headboard, behind a bed or the focal wall. And that way you can have that kind of upgrade of a design element to your home without really, that should be number 7. To add some things like a little bit of crown with a chair rail, something like that, can actually bring a lot of money to your house when you go to sell it, because it is an architectural element.
Yeah.
Right? So
I hope this helps you, because I think that we can always use a little bit uplifting. Even just changing the color in your house will make it such a cleaner and just beautiful. It just looks beautiful. I love paint. It's my go-to for many things. It changes the whole scene.
Right, and you know what, honestly, you can do one room at a time. You don't have to go crazy. But I just remember the days of, I think in the 90s, they had all these dark colors. Do you remember them? Like the forest greens and the burgundies and things like that.
Even the carpets, my goodness. I ran into some houses that they have like this bright green or bright red in the carpet. I was like, whoa, this is like too much.
Yeah. So it's funny how we change, but that's the style now, is just to have everything calm. Like we have so much going on in our lives, just to have a nice, calm, neutral color. Look at both of us have gray backgrounds.
Yep.
And we also have big art. So we're on trend, my friend.
Exactly. And I
keep
haven't
the color
yet, but I will. So.
Yeah, and keep the color on yourself, not on your walls.
Well, that's awesome. Well, thank you guys for joining us today, and we'll be back next week for some more tips for you.
Have a great day, everyone.
Thank you for being here on the show. Please remember to subscribe and hit the notification bell to get notified when there are more shows available. And if you would like to have more information on how to start investing in real estate, please visit my website at www.aracelihernandez.com. Thank you.